Online, there is the consent to test form. This is posted on the forms. This is the one that needs to be filled out. It has lines for multiple activities or clubs that you can put. You may be asked to fill this out from a different coach or things like that. It will be on record. If you want to call and say, I already filled one out, we can check that to make sure. If you want to be safe, you can fill another one out and it'll go into the same file. Things that maybe do calm some nerves. At no time will any of this information ever be turned over to the police. At no time will any charges be pressed against anybody who becomes positive. That is not what this is about. At no time will this go in any of the students' personnel file that could be sent to another school or a college. This will be strictly in a locked file in my office with the information kept there and only being shared between the parents, Ms. Husett, and myself, and the MRO office. I'm going to open it up for questions. The only thing I will say is that the policy is in place. This is not the time or the forum to question why we did this, reasons. If those want to be directed to me personally, we can set up a meeting and do that. That could be at a Board of Education meeting where it could be heard in general. I want to really answer questions that anything you're not sure about with the policy, any concerns you have on the day-to-day basis within the school of how it's going to be administered, anything like that is really what I wanted to clarify for anyone tonight. Okay, go ahead. Sure. Yes, the question is that if they are chosen once within the year, are they put back in the pool and get chosen again? Yes, they will be. No, if they are chosen more than once, I would say play the lottery, because that would be pretty good odds. It could be definitely seen that way, I agree, but there will be myself, Mr. Clancy, Ms. Husett supervising the random search, so there'll be 3 witnesses to show that it came out that way. On the books, there's also a school law that if an administrator or a teacher or anyone in the building feels somebody is under the influence or could be endangering themselves, they're required by law to notify myself or the school nurse. We do an evaluation of the child, determine if that person should be sent out for a drug screen where we would call the parents. That process will continue. Our teachers are trained on a yearly basis to look for those signs and those symptoms to make sure that they are safe while they're in the school. That still is in place. That does not change, and that is not associated with the random drug testing policy. In the back? Now, if you're positive, you would be suspended from your activity, you would see Ms. Husett, and you still would be included within the pool. So you could be chosen again in the next month to be retested randomly, not mandatory. Yes? The question is for privacy for the student. At no time will I call over the loudspeaker and say, Kevin Cowell, report to the office, you're going to be drug screened. I will discreetly walk to the classroom, or we may say, please report to guidance. I walk into classrooms all the time. I ask students to come out for different reasons, not only negative, sometimes positive. So that will be done. The secure bathroom is around the corner in the main office from my office. So the child will be waiting in my office before they go in. We will call each child out individually, so all 6 will not be sitting there waiting to go into the bathroom. One by one, that will be done. The Quest Diagnostic rep will be here until the test is done. Students will have a time period where if they cannot go to the bathroom right away, they'll have a reasonable amount of time to wait in the office area and get that done. Now, it is a small school. It is Waldwick. Students will talk. They will tell people that they got tested. That will come from their mouths only. That will not be coming from my office or the staff. But I'm sure we know things will get out, but that's they talk. Question in front.
Hypothetical situation. Suppose your child has to go to the doctor for an illness. Now, he prescribes the medication. I'm assuming that you will get a copy of the note from the doctor, and the nurse will get a copy from the, copy of the note from the doctor. with the duration of the prescription?
If the question is if the child is on a prescription, will we be notified? That's something you can or cannot disclose to the school as a parent choice, but when the MRO office calls you, they will ask you, are there any extenuating circumstances that we should be aware of? And that's when you would reveal to them, which would be confidential, that in that MRO office will report back to us saying that the result has an issue and it will be marked as negative.
Would you want it in writing?
The MRO may determine that it may be in writing or a fax to them. The MRO who has been doing this does this for multiple schools in the country. So he has experience doing this. Our MRO office, we believe, is going to be the same one that does Riverdale High School. So he has experience in doing this, and we feel comfortable with him. Yes.
Will Quest be using a split sample, so the MRO could then authorize the use of the other sample?
Split sample?
There will be a split sample. So the test, if the test comes in positive, it's always retested before it even gets to the MRO. If the second part is positive, then the MRO will review it and contact the family. And there will be, we've requested to do a split sample in the sense that another sample is kept in case anybody chooses by your own cost to send it out for retesting. If it came out positive and you felt you wanted to do that, there'll be a separate sample, but there will be a split sample for that.
So there is some way to go back at the MRO with a sample of your own testing?
You would, the split sample then, you would tell us, or you would tell the Quest what lab you want that sent to at your cost, and then that would be sent forward to that lab. But the first split, so to speak, gets tested twice. So if it's negative, but if it's positive, they still retest that sample again. So there's really a lot of testing before a positive is a positive, and then the MRO reviews it.
When does the testing start? And does it carry through the summer?
No, we will be testing only during school contact time. So I wouldn't call you on a Saturday morning and say your child's getting tested or on break. It will be during the school day. It will begin in September and will end in June.
So when you pick them, will notify us that they're going to be tested, or will they be tested that day that they're picked?
They will be tested within that time frame, within an hour. We would determine it, and as soon as we get the list, we would start to call down the students. We would notify you after the testing is done that your child just went through the random drug testing process.
Before the results? Or
Before the results, yes. Yes. To bring out Quest on site is a fee. So they charge us a fee to come on site. If we were to bring them out every day, that would get expensive. Some schools take their students themselves, bus them somewhere, or have their own personnel on site test them. We felt that was just too much. We wanted to keep it, really professional with Quest and be done that way. That could, and that's where the MRO officer would determine with you. From what I understand, we'll talk about copies.
You would have to ingest a incredible, huge, yeah, you would. We've talked about it with the lab. There's a large ingestion worth of poppy to come up as a positive. But if the MRO officer contacts you and that's what comes up, that's something you would discuss with them. No, I don't. I know I've heard this a lot, but I have to say, working in the drug and alcohol field for a long time, this is a very common concern. But I've spoken to multiple labs, including Quest, when the Quest representative met with us. Really, it does require a large amount of poppy seed to be able to test positive for that. So the likelihood of that is very slim, but that's why we have the MRO officer as opposed to just reading our own samples and making our own decisions. The medical doctor reviews it and speaks with each family individually to make that determination.
Any other questions? Just on the back. drug what?
Drug screen, dogs come in. No, I'm aware there was none.
This year there was none, that's correct.
Just want to get back there. And also, as a student, I know for a fact there are drugs circulating inside the school.
I would agree with you.
Not maybe anything to worry about and keeping consideration for doing this next year. Just let you know that.
Thank you. Myself or Ms. Husa will be calling the parents personally. Yes. That could be while they're sitting waiting to go into the bathroom. That could be immediately after, but that call will be made by one of us. Yes, the secretaries will not be calling home to say your child was just tested. It would be one of us. Yes.
So is the day of the month the test is going to occur, is that going to be random also, or will it be the same time each month?
That'll be random. The schedule will be determined before September by Ms. Husa, myself, and Mr. Clancy, and we will follow that schedule. The only time we would deviate from that is if we had a snow issue or something was closed, because we have to schedule Quest in advance to come out. So those dates will not be published, but we'll have those dates in our records. Yes.
How trained are you issues
We do not touch the drug sample. That's why we have Quest coming in. All we are there is to supervise and monitor that our students are safe and that there's nothing going on. And again, like I said before, they are unsupervised within the bathroom, so there is no issue with that. And we will make the children as calm as possible through this whole process. The MRO, the screener who is coming out does this in multiple schools as well, so they understand how an anxious a child could be by going through this. Right. All the lab techs that come out to the school are screened and have background checks to come out to the school. We did ask that question. Yes?
What happens if you pick a student that is out of their, say it's a football player, and he only plays from August to November, and you pick him in February, he's out hospital. What happens to the violation? Now he doesn't do the sport, he played it.
Yep. Once you're in the pool, you remain in it for the remainder of the year. Parents do have the option to opt them out. Most of the schools we spoke to kind of said most parents don't opt out. Parents can also volunteer children in that aren't involved. That was a discussion that came up of what do you do with those students. We hope that then giving them the counseling sessions and making the parents aware of it is a proactive approach. We've talked about is 4-hour Saturday detention for that child. Again, we're not trying to play gotcha. We're trying to help and prevent serious issues. So that child will get a 4-hour detention if they were not involved with an activity at that point. Yes? Yeah, like if I'm going to handle any issue, if I walk into a class and a teacher tells me they're doing a test, I could come back at the end of the period. I have 6 other students that I need to get to, so I would do that. I wouldn't extend it for 2-3 hours. We wouldn't schedule the random testing during exam time. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. But we will not take them out of education. They will have the opportunity to make up any work missed. Yes?
Was there an issue with making this mandatory for all students?
By law, we were not allowed to. It's not nice to say, but the sports, the clubs, parking on campus are kind of all privileges. We don't have to provide those. I don't like saying that, but that's why we couldn't have it mandatory for everybody. Yes?
Do you think 60 kids a year out of the whole high school is an adequate number to be tested?
It's a start. It's something where we didn't want to put a huge financial, commitment on us early on in this process. We wanted to just put it out there, and hopefully that at a weekend party or an event, a teammate, a friend, they say, hey, you never know, on Monday you could be picked, and that just may be in their heads to prevent some of the things that goes on that we are made aware of after the fact. It could grow. We'll see how this goes.
Everybody knows it's one test a month.
Yep.
Right. We had kids call in September 15th. I just had the test. They're not giving me another test for the next 15 days.
legitimate. There's really no answer. Riverdale, a couple of those schools do weekly. Again, we wanted to start small. We wanted to try to, to input it slowly and just make sure that we did it right. Again, we'll try to stagger our dates. We won't always have it on the 15th or the 1st, but it is a good question. If anybody has any other questions or concerns, please feel free to call, email. I'm here most of the summer, in and out. Just please call in advance to let me know, and I will be available. I thank all of you for coming out.
I just had a question. At the board meeting, we discussed in the girl elementary series what would happen. The school sent down the music, but for 14, 15-year-old kids, it's devastating. So what are we going to do in that area?
We will handle it as discreet as possible. It does not dilute the results of a test in any way. The Quest diagnostic person is a professional, and we will be as professional as we can with the young lady and handle it that way.
I will be present, so if it's a matter of discomfort for a female, definitely make sure that I would be present instead of Mr. Carroll for that particular scenario.
Present meeting with them as they're going into the room, not in the actual
Not in the batch.
Again, great turnout. I thank you all for being here. Have a great